fight me in the comments. This scene was taken straight out of CL's The Baddest Female, and by default, I guess also Blackpink's Boom.바. Okay, we're done. Hi, welcome. My name is Angelina, self-proclaimed annoying second gen stan, closeted fourth gen stan, but I'm here risking it all for Itzy. And today I wanted to take a look into their newest comeback, their much anticipated comeback with Mafia in the Morning. We'll look into what exactly that means, some of the backlash that they got pre-release for the title itself, a newly added album review section, as well as our typical why it's familiar, why it's not familiar, and everything in between. So if you have a minute, maybe 10, why don't you stick around? Maybe subscribe, like, share, and comment this video with friends you don't have, perhaps? Disclaimer, I will be making comparisons in this video. Perhaps you could tell by the thumbnail, or maybe you didn't even make it to this point. You just saw the thumbnail and annihilated me in the comments. That's fair. But yes, I will be making comparisons, the dreaded K-pop comparisons that a lot of people hate, but a lot of people secretly like. But of course, things can be similar. Things can be exactly the same actually, and still not be considered plagiarism. And I'll explain why later. But if that's not your jam, then feel free to fight me in the comments. But just know that I looked up local laws, and making comparisons between two K-pop groups is, and I quote, not illegal. Thank you. Now, before I describe the music video to you, let's talk about some of the pre-release drama that was associated with Mafia in the Morning. If you want to skip ahead to just my review, feel free to do so. I have separated this video into super fancy segments. But basically, I was seeing all over TikTok, I was seeing some people on Twitter. I even received a few DMs of people expressing concern or clowning the people who were expressing concern over the title of the track itself, Mafia in the Morning. People pointing out that the concept of mafia in and of itself was problematic. So for a little bit of context, there is a game called Mafia. I'm sure a lot of us have seen idols play it. Some idols banned from playing it. But basically, the whole premise of the game is to find out who is a mafia through deduction. There are assigned roles, and some people know who is who, some people don't, but from there people can accuse others and such, which from the beginning a lot of people associated Itzy's comeback with this game Mafia. Keep in mind, at this time we only knew the title track, we didn't really know what kind of concept it was going to be, but people saying that more than likely it would be attributed to this game, particularly because the title of their album is called Guess Who, which would fit quite conveniently with a game of deduction. And actually, even if we look at the teaser itself, we see Yuna holding up a newspaper that says, "Who is the mafia? Let's guess who the mafia is." And actually, if we look at the fine print written within the newspaper, it starts off with, "Nobody knows who they are. When do they appear and how do they disappear? Everyone is wondering who the mafia is." And then I think they just got lazy with the rest of the text, and it's just not Shy's English lyrics. But I digress. But again, if we look further into the teasers, most notably the most recent teaser we saw before the music video, we see the whole choreography that was spoiled. But we see some of the backup dancers are dressed as police officers, which is also a title that you can be within the game as well. And they have guns in their choreography, seemingly trying to find out who the mafia is. So everything kind of points to the fact that it could be related to the game, but it still brings up a different conversation, which we're going to talk about briefly. So if we think of the actual mafia, but we know the actual mafia is tied to organized activities, shall we say? And a lot of people have pointed out, obviously the horrors associated with that. So it seems a lot of people were not happy at the title itself because it kind of references that as well, which then brings into the question the game and, pop culture in general that generally references the mafia a lot. Some people claiming that Itzy were romanticizing it or making light of such a serious thing. There are actually quite a few threads on Twitter. If you search up Itzy Mafia problematic, you will find them. It'll explain a lot better than I can. But that was definitely the main backlash that I was seeing all over Twitter, all over TikTok. So I definitely love to know what you think about all of that. I mean, if we think of pop culture in general, it's referenced everywhere. It's referenced in kids' movies. Are we talking about everywhere it's referenced, or is it just Itzy? Is it just girl groups that do crime-related concepts? Because boy groups definitely get away with that fairly often, always. Because people are saying that it's a problem, that it's always been a problem, that it's not only a problem with Itzy, but there are people saying that, well, idols play this game all the time. Why is it only an issue now? Why are we only hearing about it now? So I'd love to know, do you think it's a double standard, or do you think that the word mafia, the association to that, changes the context completely, or do you think it's a non-issue? Now, the second wave of backlash that we received pre-release of this song is, of course, everyone on JYP's ass for releasing the worst teasers in the world. I mean, does YG really release teasers that are that much better? Hard yes. Like, it's a hard yes. JYP was just releasing everything whenever, all the time. Like, it was never ending. So in that sense, it just felt like overdone. At that point, I was just like, I'm not really excited anymore because there's no anticipation. I'm just given too much all at once. It's one thing to spoil the entire chorus, to spoil the entire choreography for the chorus, but it's another thing to just give too much in terms of the number of teasers that you're releasing. Was I still excited for the song? I mean, yes, because it's Itzy, but otherwise I agree that the teasers were a lot. The thing is, in my opinion, a lot of Itzy songs are like growers, right? They're not really love at first sight for me personally, so when you spoil everything all at once, I do have a little bit of a theory as to why they do this, because if you spoil the whole chorus before the song is released, then I feel like people who do dance covers, or maybe even people who do vocal covers, are going to release those covers, and then you already have kind of this pre-release buzz. So I feel like fans are inadvertently helping you with promoting this song through dance covers, through vocal covers, and all that jazz before the song is even released, because you spoiled a good chunk of it. But let me know what you think of that. But now, without further ado, let's get into the review section of this video. So the music video starts out with what seems to be the scope of a gun pointed at some store mannequins. We then see Yuna shushing us. Then we go over to Ryujin, who is amongst those mannequins and blending in. From there, we see what type of basis we're going to see in terms of the editing that is going to be very prominent in this music video. Which I have to say, let me know if you agree, it feels more like a glorified performance video rather than an actual music video. I know there's like some face shots here and there, but more than anything, it's really just dance scene after dance scene. And I think it's purposeful because the way in which it's filmed, it's very much like this member is disappearing and reappearing, the group is appearing and disappearing. So maybe that's why it's more choreography based, but it does feel like a glorified performance video in my opinion. I don't even know what kind of storyline it really was other than just dancing. But from there, we definitely see a concept that I think is a mixture between wannabe and not shy. And here's why. We're kind of still slightly playing around with this odd Western theme, notably with the floofiness in some of the outfits. They're very reminiscent of Not Shy. But the difference is we're not playing with very flashy or busy or very opposing patterns. However, it's more reminiscent of Wannabe in terms of the leather, how much darker it is. So I feel like it's a mix, but it leans more towards the Wannabe concept, while also being more girl crush. So Not Shy and Wannabe, in my opinion, were more teen crush, while this leans definitely more towards girl crush than it does teen crush, which brings us to How You Like That. And I'm bringing up How You Like That because I know people are going to mention it, and I know historically people have compared Blackpink to Itzy, and I think up until now I really didn't see it, but until now I really was not seeing that similarity. Because now I feel like we can really say Itzy did a full-on girl crush theme, which is what Blackpink is known for. Now, does Blackpink own girl crush concept? Absolutely not. But if you are in this wonderful world of K-pop fandoms, you know, people are they're gonna make comparisons. It's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But in terms of similarities to How You Like That, I mostly see it within the song itself. So How You Like That was more minimalistic in terms of the sound, as is Mafia in the Morning, but they're both a little bit more hard-hitting than you would expect. And they both, of course, feature this kind of rolled R sound in the chorus, rum ba 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 bum, or ring ding dong. I can definitely see how they would be compared to each other for sure. But Mafia in the Morning, 100%, the YG flavor isn't there. This definitely sounds like something JYP would do. In fact, I think Mafia in the Morning has more second gen vibes than How You Like That for sure, which I do think is quite reflected in the album, but I'll get into the album review a little bit later. But in terms of the concept, I think they differ a little bit more. I would actually compare it to Seulgi and Irene's Monster, just in terms of the creepy factor that we're kind of seeing. Even in the beginning, the first choreography move that you see is kind of reminiscent of a spider, and also just because of how dark and somber it is, you know, that's where my mind would go. Because in that sense, I'm also getting like BAP's One Shot vibes. I'm getting Beast's Shock vibes. I'm getting very much maybe 2012 Gen 2.5 vibes from this song as well. But we're on the last leg of comparisons that I'm going to make. Well, that's a lie, but you know, maybe petty ones, shall we say? This scene was taken straight out of CL's The Baddest Female, and by default, I guess also Blackpink's Boom Ba. Okay, we're done. I don't want to be dramatic or start anything, but YG invented nature. And actually, you know what? Since I'm going to K-pop hell, playing with fire. Oh shit. More on the styling though, I think we're in this weird time in K-pop where really interesting is the word I'm going to use. Very interesting bangs are being used. First it was Hongjoong with this cheetah print bang thing going on, and now they have targeted Leah. Frankly, this is just a reality that we're unfortunately going to have to accept. Maybe we're not ready to accept it, but it is what it is. Bangs are subjective, moving on. But it is a prediction for the rest of the year. I think we're going to see more and more interesting bangs, so keep your eyes peeled, because I did predict that early 2000s songs are going to be released, and so far it's been quite consistent. So I think also bangs, we're gonna see more of them. I want bangs now, maybe not like that, but bangs. Moving on to the choreography. I have to say it was super innovative. I'm really glad this type of choreography came out, because so far 2021 has, no offense, has just not really been the best year. In terms of K-pop releases, like I can't even think of anything that came out this year where I'm just like, wow, like concept-wise, choreography-wise, song-wise, like it stands out so much to me. Maybe Hyunna's I'm Not Cool, but they're far and few in between. But Mafia in the Morning's choreography is definitely going to stick out this year because, like I said, like very innovative. I think it's really cool. I think it's really hard hitting. 100% I like this a lot better than Not Shy. And not that Not Shy was terrible or anything like that. I just think like this is it. Like this is it. There's a move where Yeji kind of goes to the floor and it's like a leg spreading move. I think that was very eye-catching. And then there's a move where they're kind of on their knees and they're walking forward on their knees, and I'm like, the leg spreading one, I've seen it before, but this walking on your knees was so cool. And I just think there's a lot of really interesting elements. I feel as though there's a lot of elements that are otherwise overdone, but they were taken and elevated. I had to watch the choreography a few times because I was distracted by the live vocals, not from their showcase. It didn't seem the most live to me, but their first music show stage, I was like, oh. But I will save my thoughts on the performance itself for another video. However, there was one move that was totally plagiarized. They basically take one of their hands, they put it on their head, and then they extend one of their arms and they walk forward with kind of their wrists bent, which was obviously taken from Girls' Generation, The Boys. Obviously, I'm kidding, but I wanted to point that out.
Girls' Generation make you feel the heat.
So in terms of everything, my final thoughts on everything before we get into the album review. The concept, I think it's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily something super new that we haven't seen before, because I think we've actually seen it before in Wannabe and Not Shy. It's kind of a mix of it though, so I'm interested to see where it goes. In terms of the styling, it's nice. It's definitely nice. I feel like you can't really go wrong with a leather, but at the same time, we've also seen this in Wannabe. Also, I feel like they're probably going to throw in some random schoolgirl outfits, which I'm betting on it. You just wait and see. But for sure, the choreography takes the cake and is definitely my favorite part. Okay, let's move on to the album review. I don't usually do this, and I usually save my thoughts for the song at the end of the month review, but I feel like you guys aren't super interested in my end of month reviews anymore. But I don't know, I'm still gonna do them, but I also refuse to be bound by arbitrary rules. So Mafia in the Morning. I really thought Mafia in the Morning would be an earworm. I saw their teaser yesterday where they spoiled everything and it was stuck in my head. I really thought I would fall in love with it. I was anticipating it would be Big Booty Bop. However, it ended up feeling a little bit empty in the sense where I don't know that I would want to really listen to it. The chorus is nice and I'm vibing with the chorus, but then that transition from the chorus into the next verse, it's just, there's nothing there. It feels really odd to me. I'm predicting it could possibly be a grower, not a shower. But as of right now, I feel like it could be possibly YG's Dungeon, maybe even not my cup of tea. I don't know. As of right now, it's not really for me, but I've listened to it so much in trying to write my thoughts out for this review. I feel like I'll end up liking it, but right now I don't. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, the cohesiveness of this album is a little bit weird to me. As soon as the instrumental started playing, I was like, what? This gave me early 2000s vibes for sure, and I can't say it's a surprising thing coming from Itzy. I feel like all the way from their It's Me album, I've been getting these early 2000s vibes, from their B-side tracks at least. But I feel like it's giving me Not Shy album vibes in the sense that it would very much fit into their Not Shy album. I'm definitely picturing sand and shit. I could actually picture this in the movie, the animated movie Spirit. Do you guys know what I mean? And here's the thing. I'm not saying that every album needs to be super cohesive in which songs are in there. You could have totally random songs that don't fit a very specific theme. That's totally fine. I just prefer something super cohesive because even if I'm not a fan of the songs, at least I can appreciate the cohesiveness of it all. But this song as well is not my cup of tea. Next up, we have Kidding Me, which is actually my favorite song in the album. And I definitely think it more or less fits the theme of Guess Who. I think it fits in well with Mafia in the Morning. It actually feels like an interesting mixture of Hate You by 21 and I want to say Lovesick Girls by Blackpink, but I'm only saying that because of the acoustic guitar. That's the only reason. Please don't come for me. But I don't really know why I'm getting Hate You vibes. I think it's just like the smallest little part in the song. But otherwise, it does sound super familiar. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know why you think it sounds familiar. But I definitely really love the beat drop. And again, my favorite song on the album. Moving on to Wild Wild West, which I think again would fit into Not Shy. This feels like the epitome of early 2000s. Again, in like a teen movie, but it's like a Western teen movie. I have a lot of thoughts about this song. And I keep saying like, you know, similarly to Sorry Not Sorry, this should have been in Not Shy, but I actually really loved Not Shy as an album. And I feel like I wouldn't have if these songs are in there. But anyways, I have a lot of grievances with this. Please hear me out. First of all, this is not an Itzy song. This is just straight up not an Itzy song. This is a Wonder Girls song. This is if Like This by the Wonder Girls was sung by Hannah Montana or Itzy. It's just, it's like Western themed Like This. Please picture it. Shoot is another song that I think really fits the theme of Guess Who. I think Mafia in the Morning, Kidding Me, and Shoot could have made a really cool mini album. In the sense that it would have been super cohesive, but I know people would have complained about 3 songs. We're looking at you, Rose Stans. But it's definitely a vibe. Doesn't give me like Wild Wild West themes, which I personally really like. For sure part of my top 3, because I'm considering Mafia in the Morning not the worst song on the album. I do anticipate that I will like it, not gonna lie. So it's gonna be in my top 3. Lastly, we have Tennis, which is like, I feel like the obligatory random cute song in this album. It doesn't give me Guess Who vibes, but it also doesn't give me Wild Wild West vibes. It's like in the middle. It's a cute song. I can't be mad at it. I have no grievances with it really. But again, very early 2000s vibes. So that is basically it for this video. Let me know if you like more of these long form videos, if I go a little bit more into details. What do you think of it? I just personally love long form videos, kind of like a podcast, but it's not a podcast. I want to make a podcast, but I couldn't do that on my own. Who wants to make a podcast with me? I'm kidding. My friend Sherry and I have been talking about making a podcast for so long. It would be called K-pop Cancelled, because it would get shut down as soon as it would be uploaded. It would just be a real mess. But anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much. My watch time thanks you. I'll be uploading my Kingdom video and my end of month review next week. My next video will actually be my new show on Sunday, which I think will also be quite long. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. And you can also join my channel members by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. It means the world to me. Don't forget to leave down in the comments below what you thought of Mafia in the Morning. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!